Welcome to this World Junior Championship telecast on NHL Network, fueled by Gatorade. Tony Luffman, EJ Raddick, awaiting the winner of this semifinal, Team Canada. And there are a lot of people who think that Team Canada is invincible. There are two teams that would love to take a crack at them, the Americans and the Finns. What are you thinking?
Well, I expect a really tight game tonight. I think there'll be emotional swings in this game. I think both teams want to try to get to their game early, which means get pucks in behind the defenseman, work the defenseman, get traffic in front of the net, get bodies in front of the net. When the Americans do that, they've been really good at this tournament. Manage the puck well, too, because watching the Finns against the Swedes, the last 35 minutes of that game, boy, they didn't make very many mistakes at all. They managed the puck, Tony, so well, and that was the key to their rally in that game. So puck management, get to your game, get guys in front of the net, make the goalie's life a little bit more difficult. But I expect this is going to be a tough, tight battle tonight.
That rally was remarkable, from 2-zip down to winning 3-2 in the final 30 seconds. Let's look at the forward lines. Plenty of draft picks here, and the leading scorer is that number 9 guy, Trevor Zegras.
Yeah, it'll be on Zegras again tonight to be a part offensively of this U.S. attack. I'd like to see maybe a little bit more from Alex Turcotte. Kaliev is another guy that can score around the net. Ben Ears has been really an eye-opener for me, the University of Michigan kid that's in the draft, in the upcoming draft this year. He's going to be a top 10 guy at least. That third line has been really good. And even that fourth group, and you see Moynihan back in the mix, that fourth group has been able to add different elements at different times. Slager gets into the battle. Brisson's a good offensive player. Look for him on the second power play unit.
Moynihan's tough. He's had some real car crash collisions and keeps coming back. The deep pairs for Team USA, the captain, York, on the second pair. What do you think of the back end?
Well, York is the key guy here because he is the returning player, the Philadelphia Flyer draft pick, California kid. He is going to be an important player on that first power play. Sanderson's a great skater. These guys have really matured and played well throughout the tournament. They need help from their forwards coming back, but it's a nice group of 6.
Johnson had a nice shot the other night that put the puck in the direction of the net.
Get it to the net.
Not just offense. They can contribute on both ends of the ice. Game time straight ahead. Team USA and Finland. One advances to play for gold. The other will try to settle for bronze. The red, white, and blue on NHL Network right now. It doesn't get any better.
So they meet again. The United States and Finland in the medal round. As we welcome you to this World Junior Championship telecast on NHL Network, fueled by Gatorade. We're back inside Rogers Place in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, where we will find out in just a few hours who will move on to the gold medal game here in 2021. Canada knocking out Russia, shutting them out handily 5-0. So now the United States and Finland will turn things up to finish out our Monday night and see if the U.S. can get some revenge against Finland. As we welcome you inside the NHL Network studios in New Jersey with Dave Starman, I'm Steven Nelson. Now, Star, Team USA, the last 2 World Junior Championships have been ended in disappointment by the Finns. 2 years ago in the gold medal game, last year in the quarterfinals. Maybe the third time is the charm here.
If you're an American hockey fan, you certainly hope so. These teams have had some epic games. Last year's game, that 1-0 game that was played, Odin with the game-winner net, and a kid who spent a lot of time growing up in Seattle, ironically, is the one who scores the game-winning goal. And this was a game where Finland really put the clamps down all game long. They got great goaltending, defended hard. Then you get the 2019 gold medal game. That was in Vancouver, and that was another one for the ages. This game went back and forth all night long. Capo Kakko got the game winner late in it, and Finland had itself yet another gold medal in another one of these epic games.
And it's not just the World Junior Championship. You go back another year, the 2018 U18s gold medal game.
Recognize the goalie? That's Spencer Knight for the U.S.
Yep.
So many similarities between those lineups in that 2018 game for the gold medal and lineup tonight.
And you wonder, with several members of that team a part of this World Junior Championship core, if they're looking for and thinking about revenge. It's already a big enough game, but you see the names who participated in those 3 matchups.
Sometimes the easiest way to think about it is not that this is a gold medal semifinal game. It's that this is a game against a bunch of players that have had your number, and that might be all the motivation you need. So you take away the big objective. The small objective is get past the guys that have been in your way for a while.
Look, at this point in the tournament, head coach Nate Lehman told us earlier today, the hay's in the barn. There's no mystery. Just get to your game. And there's a ton of familiarity, in fact, as we've established between Team USA and the Finns. We've given the what has happened over the past few years, the Finns winning. How about the why and the how? Fans just tuning into this rivalry. What is Finland doing to upset the U.S. game consistently?
They've always had good goaltending. The one thing the Finns can do is they can clog lanes and track back really well. They're fast enough that they can catch your transition. They're fast enough that their backside pressure can break up a lot of your rushes. They defend extremely well. They also make you pay a price. Like, that to me is the beauty of the Finns game, is they're hard on walls, they're hard on corners, they're hard in the front of the net. And then on the offensive side of it, they can just bring it. They're skilled enough to find goals after they have softened you up a little bit.
Kari Piiranen, the netminder for Team Finland, undrafted in 2019. Spencer Knight was not undrafted. He went very early, 13th overall to the Florida Panthers. Behind the bench for the Finns, Antti Pennanen, his first year as the junior national team head coach, but he was an assistant on the last 2 gold medal winning teams. Nate Lehman, the 2-time assistant for Team USA, now the head coach. He's the head coach of the Providence Friars.
Got a national championship under his belt, won in an epic national title game, beating Boston University.
The semifinals are underway for Team USA in Finland. The winner will move on to face the host nation, Team Canada. A loaded roster that handled the Russians 5-0 earlier this evening.
This line for the U.S. has been outstanding.
Turned over, Beniers in front. There's a quick shot. Caulfield still loose, hacking at it as Team USA. And Piiranen will hang on.
And that's why they have been buzzing. Cole Caulfield has been just ruthless in terms of chasing down pucks. Boldy has been terrific in steering lanes. And Beniers has driven the engine from the middle. And Caulfield, you think of Caulfield as a finesse player, but he's got more grit to his game than I think he's given credit for. And it's something that has really stood out in this tournament. But that line has been outstanding.
Well, that'll wake you up 26 seconds into the first period. Team USA with a point-blank chance. Thrown in by Sanderson. Off a body in front. Brink, Berard, and Farinacci, the outstanding quote-unquote third line for Team USA.
This line could be a first line on half the teams at the tournament.
They have been so good, to put it plainly. As retreating is Emil Viro. The Red Wings prospect will touch up for an ice.
This kid Viro is a really good player. You start to see the virtual fan base of
Come on, fire
both
it up,
teams.
folks. What do you got?
They have been fun throughout the course of this tournament. You saw Viro, third rounder to Detroit in 2020. Keep an eye on him. He is a kid that can be really elusive, really agile, loves to make plays, impacts games. He has got, with his skating ability, he has got some great pro potential in the Red Wings system.
Finns control the draw in the O zone. Ellison pressuring for Team USA. Farinacci down below as well. To the point. Uutio has it go by him. The United States gets some refreshed legs out on the ice. Now an icing on the Finns.
Finns look a little tentative early. Now, granted, it's been a minute 15 in as their virtual fan base pops on to say hi.
Almost 5 a.m. in Finland.
Listen, they are hockey fans. This is a great hockey federation. Now, keep in mind, Finland and the United States, the two federations, especially the coaching programs, have done a lot together over the last few years. There's a lot of similarities in their player development style and the United States player development style. And there's been a great exchange of ideas and philosophies and information between these two federations, which has made both of them that much better.
Quick shot off the draw, steered away by Piiranen. Held in at the line, off the skate of Zegras, and now back out. Here's Brad Lambert, we touched on him, now streaking in. Puhaka to his backhand, forced away by Henry Thrun. Thrun, the Ducks prospect. Throw it back on the half wall, and now Zegras will exit. Thrown in by the 2019 9th overall selection, who is leading Team USA in points, one of the best in this tournament, in fact.
Another great defensive play by the U.S. Great rub out by Thrun on the wall. Their gap control, their forward gapping, their angling, and their stick work in their own end among their defense corps has been elite in this tournament.
Into the slot.
Another one.
Pass intercepted by Team USA. Now it's Alex Turcotte. Up to Trevor Zegras. Zegras winds, fires wide. And we'll stop down play with 17:43 left in the first period.
U.S. with good work at its own end. It leads to this. When you defend hard, these things happen for you. Zegras doesn't miss by much as he comes in and just lets it rip. Figure get a shot instead of making an extra play to guarantee that he gets a puck towards the net. Just missed. But you saw how well the U.S. defended. They had a little bit of a yip. And after that yip, they covered it up so quickly by closing up space and taking away lanes. If you're a young defenseman out there, watch the U.S. and how they defend in their own zone with how good they are with their sticks.
Now behind the net is Niemela. Spencer Knight will slap it to his right into the corner. Finland knocked out Team USA last year in the quarterfinals, a 1-0 shutout victory. Just thrown from the point and gloved out of the air by Spencer Knight. As Niemela just threw it on the net with Lundell, the captain, in front.
Lundell's had a great tournament. Niemela's had a great tournament. Spencer Knight, since game 1, has been real good too as the Finns extend some offensive play and a good shot to the front of the net. Niemela had a great idea. Just throw the puck to the front and get it on goal. Niemela is a kid. Remember Greg Patterin? Played in Montreal for a while, now in Dallas. Similar player. As he progresses up towards the pro style, could wind up being that kind of player in an organization, like a depth defenseman who sits there on that bottom pair and gives you good minutes.
Niemela leading all D-men in this tournament points with 7.
And the beauty is he's in Toronto's system, and they've got an excellent development head coach in Greg Moore with the Marlies. Moore is with the National Team Development Program and was a star at the University of Maine.
Far side point. Slap shot was kicked away by a body in front. Now into the slot for a quick shot. A wrister into the glove of Spencer Knight. That was Kasper Puutio, 5th rounder of the Florida Panthers. So those two in the same system.
Puutio has shown some flashes of offense throughout the course of this whole tournament. He's been a quietly effective offensive player, and it's not a frilly player. He's a player. He's not a ham and egger, because I think that's a detrimental term. But he keeps it simple, puts pucks in the front of the net, doesn't overextend or play outside of his limits.
I can't be the only one who's, when I see the name Puutio, that I'm thinking Phil Collins, Susudio. There's something there in the future. Maybe I'm reaching. Into the corner, Team USA in the offensive zone. The third line back out there. When Nate Lehman needs a push, needs an energy, it's this trio he throws out on the ice. Ryan Johnson will race into the corner. Sabres first rounder 2 drafts ago. Spun around, but he pushed it forward to Brett Berard. No icing. Knight would play it down. Now Cam York, the captain, he's checked off into the glass. His partner Brock Faber, Johnson's still out there, but you highlighted the tandem of York and Faber pregame.
They have been terrific. They have defended so well. They have killed so many plays. They're an analytics dream because of what they do off the puck. And look at again, good forward gap. That's been their mantra all tournament.
Early shot total 3-2 in favor of the Finns. Alex Turcotte as Zegras coming behind him. Now up to the point. Faber will send it through. Tipped away behind the net. Michigan style. But Zegras couldn't hold it on his stick. Now Zegras waltzes down. Looking across for Turcotte. Now Kaliev up for York. York will fire. That wide. And Kaliev will just whip it around.
You know what's interesting? I never thought that through the course of this tournament, even though York's a good defensive player, I never thought through the course of this tournament we'd be in the January 4th games and I'd be talking about York's defensive prowess in this tournament more than his offense.
That's a great point. A record-setting career for the National Team Development Program in Plymouth.
Yeah, his own end, he's been wonderful to watch. Simple, effective, smart, and he's got great feet.
As there's an icing, we show you Trevor Zegras, and again the small animal on his upper lip. One more. I appreciate the attempt.
He tries the little Mike Leg Billy Armstrong thing here and doesn't work, but he almost puts it off the Finnish defenseman, which could have created even more. That Billy Armstrong I'm talking about was the forward that played at Western Michigan, not the current general manager of the Arizona Coyotes, though they were teammates together in Hershey.
I swear, Starr knows everybody. Dave Starman in the game of hockey.
We refer to them as Billy D and Billy H, or Billy F for forward and defense.
Way to differentiate between the two.
Yeah, well, there's a slight size difference too. Billy Armstrong, the forward, is about 5'11", and Billy Armstrong, the defenseman, was about 6'3", and he was a killer back in the American League in the early 90s. Boy, was he tough.
There's Antti Pennanen again. Won a league title 2018-2019 when he was coach of the year, top level league in Finland. Been familiar with this tournament as an assistant. This is his first time as the bench boss at 41 years old. A staff member of his, a name NHL fans will recognize, Tuomo Ruutu, is back again. Off the face-off, the slap shot from Niemela was blocked off the stick, and now into the corner for Brock Faber. Quick across. Akuratu. Thrown back, glove down at the line and held in. Deflection attempt. Wide of Spencer Knight. Ellison lays the body, and Sanderson will take over possession. Drew Hellison, you highlighted him in the quarterfinal game. Second-round pick of the Avalanche 2 years ago. As that Avs organization is starting to get rolling, you wonder if this is the year they put it all together in the National. Turned over, now Finland. Here's Brad Lambert.
Nick Four, who worked in the National Team Development Program for a long time, said to me about Hellison, he said, this is a kid that where the big moment will not overwhelm him.
Matt Beniers to the backhand center for Boldy at the skates. Now taken by Beniers. Beniers, sharp angle, goes high off the glass and into the seats in Edmonton. All right, you got your legs under you? Because we're just getting started in the semis. U.S. and Finland scoreless.
What has the U.S. done? They've defended hard. They've covered some mistakes. Look at the way they swarm sticks down, in lanes, gaps up. They pick off a pass, and look at the chance they get out of it as Zegras flies the zone. Good defensive support, good defensive play, defend from the inside, and they spring Zegras, who reads a change in possession. And that is why this team is where it is so far in this tournament in terms of keeping the goals down and putting goals on the board.
Zegras out there with Turcotte and Kaliev, per the usual for Nate Lehman. Zegras goes between the legs to try and keep the zone. Only does it for a brief moment. Less than 13 to go in this first 20. And if we've learned anything from these two nations, the last two World Juniors, this game will not be decided in the first 20. It'll come down to the last 10 of the last period. Streaking in, Brad Lambert. Get to know the name. Pass taken away. And now it's on the stick of Turcotte, who's being harassed by Puhakka.
I think Turcotte factors in big tonight. I really do. I thought he was going to be good the other night. I think it's still building. And a big physical guy like him, I think, is perfect in a game against a team like Finland.
I just wrote it down. I'm going to hold you to it. I think USA hockey fans tuning in from all over the country in North America. First of all, we thank you for doing so. I hope you're strapped in for this good one. Hitting the brakes on the far side is Viro. He throws it at the net. Kept out by York. And York will streak in. Over to Berard. Mark throws it behind the net for Bobby Brink. Philadelphia Flyers second rounder. And now Faber will retreat.
These two have played like they've played together for years. Their reads have been good. Their support of each other has been good. Neither one of them hangs the other one out to dry. I love the way they play together.
Beniers making something happen again as Berard had a shot, but it was blocked. Hellison up for Matty Beniers, the 2021 prospect. Freshman at Michigan, was set to play at Harvard, but with the Ivy League schools not having a season, he quickly found a home as we see a hit in center ice laid by Beniers. Caulfield giving chase, has Boley behind him. Now in front, and Piiroinen has to cover up.
Little bobble in front of the net. by the young Finnish goaltender. In games like this, leakers and bobbles and yips, I mean, they're just bad because it's a one game. As a nice hit by Beniers in the neutral zone. Good clean shot. Sometimes that one mistake you make, you don't get a chance to get it back. And that's why everything has got to be much more dialed in. Details have to be on. This is not one of those games where you have room to play with.
Something we're looking out for is to see how the Team USA looks here in the early goings. They were tight in the last game. There's no question about it against Slovakia. As there's a shot uncorked from the point.
Well, you made a really good point before we went to commercial. Everybody's got their legs underneath them now. Everybody's had 2 or 3 shifts. Everybody's got a puck touch or 2. Those are the little things that are so important in a game. You can have a really good warm-up and feel good, but once you get into the game, especially these big games, it takes a shift or 2 to feel your feet. You're all jacked up. The emotions are going, little butterflies, and you want to make sure you get a good puck touch, a good hit early, get physical, get contact, get a little sweat, and then it just becomes a hockey game, and instinct takes over.
One thing Nate Lehman didn't want was what he saw against the Slovaks, his team playing tight, and so he wanted things light in the lead up to the semifinal. Hey, told the guys, don't think about this game all day. Get away from it. Stay loose.
I told him to put cupcakes in everybody's skates before practice, but that apparently it wasn't taken.
Ratu into the middle. Good pressure there by Johnson to negate a chance in the slot as Landon Slaggert is pressured off there. Slaggert, Blackhawks prospect, on the forecheck. Kaliev will join the fun. Here's the other 28. Nikkanen thrown around. Finland has it far side. We played 10 minutes here in the semifinals with Dave Starman in studio. I'm Stephen Elson. Now at the point, Niemela thrown near side. Zegras has the puck knocked off his stick, and now Puhaka circling, trying to find some real estate. Thrown in, blockered away. And now Helenius, big 6'6", 2021 draft prospect. He pushes it to the point. One-time blast off a skate and into the seats. Another timeout for us. Alex Turcotte and Team USA still staring at donuts on the scoreboard.
You want to see what elite feet can do? Keep your eye on the bottom part of your screen. 8 in blue is Jake Sanderson. He gets a slow start, one crossover, turns the forward gap, gets inside of his man, and then uses his feet to go chase the puck down, and that's when his partner, Drew Hellison, came to cover him. But his explosion towards the puck carrier, being able to catch up on that race, killed any opportunity that the Finns would have had as Anton Lundell was off and running. That's defense in the offensive zone, and that's where good offensive rushes go to die when you get them quick.
And another peek at an example of the little things. Wrister from Farinacci deflected out. No netting inside the bubble.
Yeah, some of the pucks that have been shot out of play, you won't find those pucks until the vaccine is administered. I mean, they are deep in the
fingers crossed
high reaches of this building.
Nate Lehman, I really only think he took like 2 ties to the tournament. But you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. Remember talking about superstitions, right?
Yeah. He's not a little stitious. He's definitely superstitious, based on clothing anyway.
Hey, the World Cup team coaching staff for Team USA, I think they have the same tie for every game. Timmy Taylor was the head coach with that one, and Joe Britannia, the former commissioner of Hockey East, usually lends me his version of that tie for this tournament. I forgot to ask him.
Heads up, Ville Heinola entering the zone. Now far side, looking down is Lundell, the captain. Those two, the first-round picks on this Finnish roster. Here's Heinola, Winnipeg Jets prospect. We saw him play in the National Hockey League at the start of last year. Now it's down for Jackson Lacombe. Lacombe, one of 4 Ducks prospects on the USA Hockey roster. Here's an Ottawa Senators prospect, and Jake Sanderson tried to hack at it. He was spun around. Beniers will shovel it in as a stick came up and got Matt Boldy. No arm up, though, from the officials. 8:15 to go. Parsonen into the slot. Shot blocked. And hacked back in by Ratu. Ratu again with a wrister. Pad save by Spencer Knight. Run will play it up along the wall. And Berard smart to bring it back down below create some room for his breakout. Chipped head for Farinacci. Turned over by the Finns with less than 8 to go. Knight is going to have to hang on. The Hockey Intelligence is celebrating 10 years of improving the hockey sense of thousands of players, officials, and coaches. So visit usahockeyintelligence.com today, and you will learn how at-home cognitive training can help improve your hockey sense and complement your on-ice sessions.
You talk about little things. Berard had a chance to get a puck deep. It didn't go deep. The Finns turned it back around, and now out of it, they went up with an offensive zone draw.
Zegras trying to knife around Puutio. Zegras has Kaliev. Zegras holding back into the slot, bouncing puck wide off the stick of Turcotte. Now up top, shot from the point, off the glove of Pete Oinen. We play on. Kaliev will reverse course. Kaliev in the circle. Kaliev shot loose in front. Turcotte scores! You called it, Dave Starman. 1-0 Team USA as Turcotte cleaning things up in front.
Well, this all started with an offensive zone face-off win off of what we just talked about. The Finns getting an offensive zone chance. The U.S. took the puck and they never gave it up. And they went to work. They got a great rush to start with. And there's Turcotte doing what he does best. Getting inside of a defenseman with a stick down, knees bent, using his strength planted in front of the net, and just good stick work to out-muscle the defenseman Nikkanen and get the goal. Kaliev does some of the heavy lifting here in terms of corralling a puck to get it to the front of the net. And then it was Turcotte who did the rest as he slides one in short side and gives the U.S. the all-important first goal.
LA Kings fans can get used to that. Kaliev, the second rounder in 2019, Turcotte, the first rounder. They hook up to help Team USA break the ice. Turcotte's second tally of the tournament, his 6th point in 6 games.
He's got his dad's hands. He's got his dad's skating ability. He's a little bit bigger and stronger, which gives him that net front presence that just makes him an outstanding center prospect at the NHL level.
Alfie Turcotte, his father. Canadiens draft pick in '83.
He played against a lot of those, against the two Armstrongs quite a bit in that Baltimore Hershey era. I'll tell you that much.
It all comes back to the Armstrongs tonight. Thrown in by Niemela for Spencer Knight. Knight going off the glass. That got him in some trouble against Russia in the opener.
I think we got a penalty coming here.
Yeah, it looked like Colangelo knocked the stick.
Team USA 22, minor penalty slashing.
Let's go back to the goal first, Star.
Here comes the rush. Zegras did a nice play to get the puck in. It get Kaliev corrals that loose puck that was rolling around. The whole key for this play was the U.S. never really gave up possession of the puck. The other night, in the last 2 minutes of the game against the Swedes, the Finns didn't give up possession. They wound up getting a goal to get the game winner. U.S. does the same thing. They establish possession. They establish offensive zone time. They get a goal out of it. You see the penalty by Colangelo.
Colangelo went 36th overall to the Ducks in the last draft. Northeastern Husky, Jim Madigan. And Colangelo is a player that this coaching staff has been raving about. If this guy has a couple months of college hockey under his belt, it'd be at a totally different level than even what we're seeing now. They really like where his ceiling could be. But now he'll sit for 2 and give the Finnish power play an opportunity. Finns number 2 on the man advantage. The United States number 1 entering play today. Shot from the point. That went off the side of the net as Knight had to fight through traffic to see it. Anton Lundell will go up to the point. Heinola pass. Oh, what work by the Finns. And they tie the game on the power play. Tic-tac-toe. It's 1-1. Kasper Simon Taival, Kings 3rd rounder, evens the score.
This unit has just run roughshod through the tournament. They have been outstanding because they create so many options and they can get pucks through the seams. It's a patient unit that moved it around, and there's your pass inside the seam as they catch the U.S. a little flat-footed and create a 2-on-1 in front of the net. What's a power play all about? Can their 5 outwork your 4? And can you create many 2-on-1s all over the ice? And that's what the Finns do, and it finishes up with a nice tip in.
Entering the medal rounds, the United States had been the most disciplined team in the tourney. Best PK. It has not been at that same level the last 2 games. Granted, this Finnish power play, as we've established, is really good. Zegras in tight. Slap shot blocked by Pyroinen.
He is shooting the puck tonight. That's about his 3rd attempt at a net.
A little more than 5.5 to play. Zegras back in. Puck knocked off his stick. Off the glass, but not out. Kallio trying to keep it. Zegras has it. Now into the slot. Thrown in front, off a body and wide. Ratu sealed off by Sanderson. Another great play by Jake Sanderson.
Keep an eye on Pyroinen. He's had a couple of pucks go off his catch glove tonight that he hasn't handled well. He's had one off his trapper that didn't track very well. Keep an eye on whether or not the U.S. starts putting pucks up top and testing his hands.
And if you recall, last year in the quarterfinals, the United States had plenty of chances, but Justus Annunen, the netminder for Finland, just stood on his head a bunch.
As we all know, it's much easier to get hot in a single game elimination than a best of 7.
Oh, no question. Thrun from the point, blocked by Kokkonen. Maple Leafs prospect shoveled back in by Thrun, but the United States has to get back on side.
Nate Lehman knows that very well because his Providence College Friars got very hot in 2015 as a 4 seed, knocking off Miami and Denver in the regionals on their way to winning a national championship with wins over Dean Blaze's Nebraska Omaha Mavericks. And then David Quinn's Boston University Terriers. David Quinn, now the head coach in New York with the Rangers.
This USA club, not a 4 seed, number 1 in Group B in this tournament after losing the opener to Russia. They won the rest with 3 shutouts along the way. Right now tied 1-1. Latter stages of the first period of the semifinal against Finland. 3rd straight year these 2 nations locking horns in the medal rounds of the World Juniors. Previous 2 won by the Finns.
And a lot of races right now being won by the Finns, and the U.S. starting to throw some hope passes around, which is a dangerous proposition against a team that knows how to cut off lanes.
Near side, Cole Caulfield sling it in. Caulfield going bar down on his birthday in the quarters for his 2nd goal of the tournament with a sick wrister. I wonder if we'll see that again tonight. He scored twice in the exhibition game against Finland. Dancing puck in front of the net of Knight. And now he has to whack it away as it bounced over the stick of Hirvoinen, one who scored the game-winning goal against Finland, or excuse me, against Sweden. Less than 30 seconds left in the quarters. Now thrown in front by Patrick Moynihan, who's back in the lineup after a couple games out. He wasn't 100% healthy. Here's some hollering from the benches as we continue play with 2:35 to go. Ratu will pick it up. This is Aku. And we have a penalty.
I believe this one is going to be to the United States as well.
So the United States again to the kill, as it's been recently tied by that man, Simon Taival, 1-1. Alex Turcotte scored the 1st goal of the game for Team USA. Here he takes the Americans' 2nd penalty.
If you're on the bench and you see a player take a hard penalty, you're jacked to go kill it. You see a player take a stick penalty or that kind of penalty, those are penalties where your shoulder sags a little bit because guys lose a little bit of ice time because you're back in a PK situation.
Sanderson working hard off the draw, dug out and cleared. Nice start for the kill. Finland 1 for 1 on the power play. You just saw Simon Taival with his tally on some beautiful passing from the Finns. Ellison out there with Sanderson as that one is cleared.
So a good first win on the draw. Gets a clear. Finland with not a great entry. U.S. back with possession. Gets a clear. And the first unit is now 35 seconds in without having done very much.
Brad Lambert, 17-year-old out there on the man advantage for the Finns. Tipped in front by Ratu. Wide and then hacked off the glass, but not out. Thrown back along. Thrun in pursuit. Lambert will gather. Pushed to the point and thrown back down. Knight will come out of his net. It's played to Lambert. Half the Turcotte penalty has been killed. Niemela will let it go off his stick and then off the glass. And it's knifed out by Matty Beniers.
I think Spencer Knight is really dialed in tonight. He's kept pucks in front of him. He's very calm and composed. He's been active in the crease. Like, he just looks like he is finding the puck, seeing the puck, and following the puck.
Finns enter. Niemela has some room to waltz in. Gets it to the far side. Nikkanen. Niemela. Lambert now. Lambert will move into the circle. Lambert will snap one off, but it never got to Knight. Thrown in by Niemela. Parssinen down below. Along the goal line, centering attempt. Off a stick. Final 10 seconds of the Turcotte penalty. Less than 40 to go in the first period. We're tied at 1. Niemela near side to Parssinen. Turcotte going to hustle out of the box. Parssinen will let it go. Pad save, rebound loose. Hack that, blockered away by Knight. And Turcotte will jump into the play and body up Parssinen and help the United States take over possession.
Heads up here, heads up.
Turcotte fresh.
Finns are tired. Power play unit's been out there a while.
That's why Turcotte going after him here. Last 12 seconds as Zegras and Kaliev will enter. And the first period will end. Shots 11-7 in favor of the Finns. We're all even up on the scoreboard.
Great movement by Knight around the crease. Calm, composed, finding pucks, keeping them out of traffic. Big game by your big goaltender in period number 1.
Tone, EJ, it's time to start the first intermission report, which will feature ringside interviews with our own Jill Savage.
Welcome to this World Juniors intermission report, fueled by Gatorade. Tony Luffman, EJ Raddick. 1-1 through 20. Did we expect anything but a very competitive game? You said to do just that, and that's what we saw.
Yeah, it was a competitive game, and it's been a competitive first period. And what we talked about before the game, don't take penalties against Team Finland. The Americans took 2. 1. Neither was really a great penalty. The Colangelo one in particular, offensive zone slash, not very good. Finland's able to get the power play goal and tie things up. But a good period, ebbs and flows, and that's what happens when you have 2 really competitive, good teams that know each other very well.
Hockey coaches say start on time. Team USA started on time. Caulfield with a great look early on, EJ, in the first minute of the game.
Yeah, this was kind of reminiscent of what happened against the Swedes, where they got that kind of bad goal. In this case, it was just a turnover. That's the guy you want right there, Cole Caulfield, right in the doorstep. He just can't get the puck up over the pad. He's in a little deep there, can't find the rebound.
So Team USA, 2 minutes gone by, they had the jump early on. Zegras, howitzer. That's a big swing.
That's a rocket right there, and just misses that far post.
15 and a half to go. Team USA again applying pressure. The lacrosse-style effort from number 9.
Yeah, he can't quite get it up on the blade there, but he throws it towards the front, almost gets a good bounce off the Finnish defenseman, but can't quite complete that move. Not easy to do, but you see guys do it more and more often now. These guys are so skilled.
And it gives you a sense how confident 9 is in his game right now, Trevor Zegras. So Team USA, scoreless, but they had been applying pressure. They wouldn't stay scoreless. They were able to break through and score the game's first goal. We look at it, and we know that Kaliev has been an offensive weapon. Kaliev, with the puck on his stick, sends it toward the net.
Yeah, and it just pinballs around. It hits Turcotte, it hits the Finnish defenseman, and Turcotte does a nice job adjusting his hands. The puck is in his feet a little bit, as you're going to see here, and he's able to kind of push off a little bit there and find that off his right skate and then shovel it into the net. A nice play there. And Kaliev, he's someone that hasn't played a lot of hockey this year due to the COVID-19 restrictions and not playing in the Ontario Hockey League. He has gotten better as this tournament has gone along, and both are LA Kings draft picks. So Kings fans are hoping to see that combination with that result out in LA.
Cue the horn, that horn that they play at Staples. We're going to take our first break. A 1-1 score because Finland answered with a power play strike. More on this game after a quick timeout. It has been a fierce battle as expected. The first 20 minutes, Turcotte's tally answered by the second best power play in the World Juniors. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Taking a look at the numbers from the first period. Finland out shooting Team USA 12-7. We're all even at a goal apiece. How did the staff see it? Let's hear from Chris Mayotte alongside our Jill Savage.
We knew this one was going to be a tight one. What did you like from the first 20?
Well, I thought our start was good. I thought we got on them early, got pucks behind them, created turnovers, got a couple scoring chances early. We got away from us a little bit there, but that's what we got to get back to.
Finland has 7 power play goals now in this tournament. What adjustments do you want to see for the penalty kill?
Well, I think we got to know when to go and when to hold them, I guess, a little bit. I think we got caught in between a little bit. They're doing a little bit something a little different and moving pucks well. So we got to either stick with our structure or be successful with our pressure.
With this pace, who benefits more?
I think it's us. I think in the long run, it's us. We got to make sure we stay on it. We got to keep the pedal down and keep putting pressure on their D and see if we can keep creating turnovers.
Best of luck.
Thanks, Joe.
Spencer Knight doesn't need luck. This guy, so solid in net ever since the Russia game. This one, waffle boarded away, going up high. Michael, we have to get back to the foundation. Kit Car, you betcha.
This intermission report is fueled by Gatorade. Nothing beats Gatorade.
Canada and Russia in the first semifinal. Or, as we refer to it, another chance to admire Canada. Already up 1-0. Connor McMichael, 2-0.
Yeah, really nice play in front of the net there to get that pass from Peltier. Puts it in. McMichael, a Capitals draft pick. I like his game.
Canada, power play. Cole Perfetti can solve a Rubik's Cube. Also can solve a penalty kill. 3-0.
Yeah, this is a terrific shot. Watch with this one. Just over the pad, off the pipe, under the glove. Great shot by Perfetti.
Watch Braden Schneider here. Number 2, snipe. 4-0.
Yeah, Rangers draft pick jumped in, took a nice pass here, and then just walks it home from the top of the circle and rips it over the glove.
Believe it or not, the Russians did at one point or two have a chance to score. But Devin Levi said, no, you will not.
He was solid, kept things in front of him, held on to a lot of pucks, just did a nice job throughout.
Empty nets. Dylan Cousins can score when there are people in front of the nets. That was an easy one. 5-0 the final. This team, EJ, cumulative 41-4, outscoring their opposition. The 05 team was 41-7. Yeah. That 05 team may be the greatest World Junior team ever. Like before, now, and in the future. Yeah. Incredibly dominant, this Canada team.
Yeah, they are. They haven't given up a 5-on-5 goal in this tournament, which is really impressive when you think about it. They just played the Finns. They've now played the Russians, and still perfect 5-on-5. So it's been a great effort. The thing I like about it the most, we know about the 19 first-round picks, 6 of them on defense. The defensemen stay up. The forwards are bought in. They back check like the house is on fire. They got to get there to put it out. And there's no time and space for the opponent. There's no prolonged offensive zone time. And when you do get a chance, there's Devin Levy, just straight up, locked in, and he holds on to pucks. There's no rebounds. You get a face-off, you start over.
Shifting our focus back to our game. 1 period played. Game tied at 1. Team USA played with a certain identity early on, but got away from it.
Yeah, well, when you take penalties, you put yourself in a tough spot because now you're killing penalties against a really good power play that the Finns have. So for Team USA, cut it out. No more penalties, especially stick fouls. The first one, Colangelo, the slashing penalty. That's just a silly play right there. He chops away, the guy loses the stick. That's a penalty nowadays. That's not a penalty that you want to take there. Colangelo is a fourth-line player. So I don't know how much we're going to see of him in the rest of the game based on that. These things happen, and then you're going to see really good puck movement by the Finns. And York kind of gets caught in between the 2 players in front of the net, picks the wrong guy. You can see he's on that backside of Semifinal there and doesn't get the stick, and then it's just an easy tap in right there. So for Team Finland, they've been really good on the power play. They've showed it throughout the tournament. When you go back to the pre-tournament game, they scored 2 power play goals against Team USA. And now this evening, they've had 2 chances. They get 1. So it's no secret. Coach Lehman has talked about it. We've talked about it. The players know it. You got to play hard. You want to be aggressive, but no more silly stick fouls, certainly, and try to take as few penalties as you can. Offensively, get back to how they started the game. Pucks deep in the zone, put pressure with your speed on those Finnish defensemen, try to turn them over. You saw that in the very first shift of the game. They forced the Finns into a mistake. Caulfield had a great chance. He was just in a little too tight. So that's what the Americans have to do, is get back to that game and stay out of the box.
And EJ pointed out before the game just how lethal the power play could be for the Finns. 40%. Growing up, I was taught Casper was the friendly ghost. Casper tied this game at 1. We've got the second period straight ahead. Don't go anywhere. This is what we wanted. Semifinal drama. The Americans and the Finns. Second period right after this.
We welcome you back to this World Junior Championship telecast on NHL Network. It's fueled by Gatorade. After one period of play, Team USA and Finland tied at 1 in this semifinal. The winner moves on to face Canada in the gold medal game tomorrow night. Dave Starman, Steven Nelson with you once again. And Star, you're wondering, next goal wins?
Games against these two teams, right? Goals are such a premium that a 1-0 game, they've had a 3-2 game. It's hard to score
Fair point.
when these two teams played, so you wonder how big the next goal is. And the Finns got one on the power play. What I want you to watch is the U.S. attacking triggers, backhands, bobbles, and the Finns escaped. In a lot of situations where the U.S. could have attacked the trigger, like right here. They get it, but yet the Finns get the puck back. Here's another opportunity to attack on a long pass. Do they make a play on the backhand? No, the Finns escape again. So they keep the play alive. Then they finally get to the front of the net. Loose puck. Can you attack? Can you attack? Pucks keep moving around, and then they finally get things set up. Stick of Faber leaning towards the net, pass behind him. The Finns score. Eric Lang, the head coach at AIC, one of my former players in junior, brought that up to me between periods. I thought it was a great point.
Puck is down for the sandwich stanza, a period that has been good to the United States throughout this tournament. They've outscored the opposition 13-4 in the middle frame. Starman and Nelson in the NHL Network studios in New Jersey. In Edmonton, Anton Lundell forcing a turnover. And now up for Santeri Hataka. Hataka throws it towards the net and never got past the top of the circle. Finns scoring on the power play, as you just broke down, Star. That is something they did twice for their only 2 goals against Team USA in the exhibition game before this tournament began. A game that the United States won 3-2. The 2 goals from Cole Caulfield. That game didn't count. This one very much does. Dancing in, Parssinen to his backhand. Parssinen lifting one at Spencer Knight, who calmly steered it away. And now it's Niemela. Near point, Vito. He goes across, but the puck bounced away, and now Sanderson will have it. Gerard tripped up, and that's going to be a penalty.
Finns on the attack. And
Whoop.
good little short pass, little whoop. And they got a scoring chance. I think Knight is just really dialed in. He's been good on his angles. He's been good on the post. Been good squaring up.
Forgive me, just offside call. I could have swore that the way Gerard hit the ice, he was brought down.
Certainly sold it, though.
Yeah. Turcotte strong on the puck. Now to Thrun. Thrun loses his feet and the puck. There's Turcotte again. Now 6 points in the tournament, and his World Juniors have been even better than that.
What do you want out of your number 1 center? A guy who can win faceoffs, a guy who can distribute the puck to his wingers, a guy who can make his line better, drive it, and a guy who can play well in his own end. And Turcotte has done exactly that every game of this tournament.
Hataka. Content to just throw it around the net. Hellenius has just come onto the ice. Big 6'6" prospect. Now pressure on Korhonen.
This kid Hataka, 2 and white, He is among all the Finnish defensemen so good at extending plays. He's really rangy, and when he's in the middle of the blue line as the weak side D and the puck comes around, he's got a great ability to get to them and extend offensive zone time for him.
Simon Taival, the goal scorer for Finland, drew another shot at Spencer Knight, who got his stick down. Now Johnson has to chase, a little slow to it. Korhonen harassed by Landon Slaggert. And the United States will set up behind Spencer Knight's net.
Oh, boy, the Finns are reloading incredibly well over the puck. Just great rotation. Every time the U.S. picks up a puck and they look like they're going to get out of their own zone, they take a look up and there's a lot of white in front of them. And when they try to move it back and regroup, the Finns aren't letting them have that ice.
Thrown at Piroinen. And he lets a rebound go. Thankfully, no U.S. skaters were there. Now thrown from a sharp angle by Lundell. Lundell with 7 points entering this semifinal. He was injured in last year's tournament. Otherwise, this would be his third World Junior Championship. It's going to go for an icing.
Finns with a really good start here. And, you know, I was talking with Lou Mangialuso earlier today, and he was very key component of putting a lot of the World Junior teams together from 02 through 06, including that 04 team that won the gold medal. And we were talking about Team Finland. He told me a great story about how John Hines was an assistant coach on that team, and Kenny Martell, who's now with USA Hockey, was the video coach, did such an outrageous job breaking down the Finns and the Swedes en route to the United States gold medal game against Canada. Because getting past those two European nations, the Swedes and the Finns, both play a little bit of a different style, shows how important your support staff is.
Puck battle behind Spencer Knight. Won by the United States. Slapped back into the D zone, though. And now Sanderson being pursued by Ratu. Caulfield reached for it. Ends up back with the stick of Lacombe. Beniers putting the body on. Second time he's done that tonight. He's been doing it all tournament.
The one thing the Finns have to be careful of is when they get pucks in the middle of the ice here without speed. Where the U.S. has been really good, and we showed it to you in the open, they track back extremely well. They back check through the middle well. They get numbers back. The last thing you want to do if you're a team without speed coming through the neutral zone is be in the middle of the ice without the ability to protect the puck.
Arsenin escapes, streaking in. Hitta thrown down. No penalty.
Oh, they got away with one.
Yeah, you heard get up. Simon Taival backhands it in. Now Patia. Simon Taival centers. Sticked away. Now Farinacci will bring it out. Up to Berard. Berard throws it around the net.
Heinola got caught in a bad pinch, 4 and white, and they got away with it.
No penalty there. As Berard was tripped up, he looked back to the official. Decides to play on. Now Johnson. Met by Hataka. Lead pass up. Zegras trying to knife his way around, but Vito up to the task. And icing on the Finns.
Nice job by the U.S. to stretch the rink, and a great job by Viro to get back. He plays with an edge to his game, and he tracked back quick. U.S. with a really good up-the-gut pass. And look at Viro takes a great route to the puck. Instead of attacking the puck carrier directly, he came straight back down the middle to get a better defensive posture on the puck. Finns with a couple of good outs as they kick one from the middle lane with no speed wide, where they can generate some speed and get an offensive chance.
Zegras off the draw. Rister. Easy money for Piroinen. So we're getting going here in the second period. Still tied at 1 at the World Junior Championship semifinal. ShopUSAHockey.com is the official online store of USA Hockey, and it is your place to be if you want the latest in USA Hockey apparel. Jerseys, outerwear, toques, hats, anything you want, find it, and you'll proudly cheer on the red, white, and blue. Visit ShopUSAHockey.com to see the latest offers. 13:55 left in the second period. Finns out shooting Team USA 15-9. We're tied at 1. Turcotte with the first goal. The Finns tied it with a power play tally as Kaliev in a puck battle in the slot. Kaliev lays the shoulder into the middle. Zegras in pursuit. Now Anton Lundell. Cross. Oh, you'd like to see Niemela maybe throw it on net there. Look for the extra pass. Finns keep the zone. Blocked in front by Front. And now played up. Zegras has Artie centered for him. Never got to his stick.
U.S. is trying to break the Finn structure by starting to stretch the rink out a little bit, and especially in this period of the long change. You're sending pucks up ice in front of your own bench, so if you need a quick change, you can grab one if you need it. But I like the strategy. The Finns are packing tight, playing 5 in the frame, and the U.S. is trying to get around that kind of packed house by going for the home run pass here on a couple of shifts.
Hellison joins the rush to the backhand center off a skate. Trickles wide of Pinoinen. Held in by Colangelo to Hellison. Hellison shoots. Blocked again. I think it was redirected in front. Waltzing in. Hellison lost the puck. Colangelo pressuring with him. All the deuces.
Oy, that is not how you win games. Not those passes.
Colangelo off the stick of Vito and into the stands.
You've got to make sure when you're defending against a good offensive team that you don't put pucks out in bad areas, and they put a muffin out in front of the net in the middle of the ice, and the Finns got lucky that didn't turn around on them after their goaltender bailed him out with a big save there. Great shot by Hellison. Good drive to the net as the U.S. gets a good chance with Brisson in front.
Pinoinen undrafted in 2019. Has the net here in the World Junior Championship. Favor, patient. Now plays it down for Boldy. Boldy Meniere's working. Boldy trying to stuff it home, but didn't get a good attempt off. Meniere's for Boldy. Boldy has to get back on side.
I'm telling you right now, the Finns right now are playing with fire. They have made a couple of really ill-advised passes from their own end. Passes on their backhand, passes from the wall to the middle into dangerous areas. That is just not something you can do in a game like this where goals are at a premium.
Brock Faber plays it forward to Cole Caulfield. He goes on Wisconsin, back down to Faber. Thrown in. Billy Heinola. Up for Helenius. Johnson comes away with the puck. And it's sent the length of the ice for an icing.
Heinola has been very quiet. I know Nate Lehman wanted to get on their defense, and he's kept Heinola quiet, which is good.
Well, let's relay the message that we heard during the break. Nate Lehman preaching to his club here in the second period. What does he want to see from them?
He wants to see them regrouping less. He wants to see less pucks towards his own net, more pucks going north. Remember, you and I just talked about how every time the U.S. tries to regroup and throw a puck back, the Finns are taking away their ice. What he wants to see them do is go north quick and play downhill, not allow the Finns to get into that defensive structure. Speed will always beat structure. And with the U.S. having a quick team, you're starting to see them with a couple of passes up the gut since that break.
One at night. Off a stick, now near side. Played down. Lundell. Backhands to the point. There's that far side shot. Stopped by Knight. Lambert will pick it up. A good tip to the center, but nobody was home. Finns were down against the rival Swedes in the quarterfinal. And after the first period, it honestly looked like this was going to be an easy Sweden victory as Farinacci picks it up. Farinacci shoots, and a big save by Pinoinen. But the second and third period for Finland, a much different game. They controlled the play. And ultimately, Roni Hirvonen, the game-winning goal. Officially ending what was a disappointing tournament for the Swedes.
In that last shift, from the 2-minute mark down, this was unbelievable to me. From the 2-minute mark down, the Finns didn't give up the puck until they scored the goal. the Swedes touched the puck 7 times, mostly by accident. Either the shot hit a shin guard, went off a stick real quick, and you see the U.S. with a good chance and a good save by peeing it in front. It was unreal the way that for 1 minute and 30 seconds, Finland really didn't give up the puck, barely gave up the offensive zone, and turned it into a goal. They swarmed like a herd of bees.
I think swarm.
A swarm of bees, not a herd.
You're good for history, math, nature.
Metaphor is bad.
As Knight gloves it down with 10:01 left.
We talked about Spencer Knight earlier in the telecast about him being on, and I just think he has really tracked it well. And he's been a topic of conversation through the tournament about a lot of things that he's done to improve his game. Mike Ayers is goalie coach at Boston College, and they've really worked on better positioning of his glove hand so his glove can be more athletic. They've talked about hitting his marks and how Knight tries to use the least amount of energy to cover the most amount of space so he can stay fresh and explosive through the course of a game.
Calm, composure, kind of the calling card for Spencer Knight.
And I've been really critical of a lot of goalies and how they handle their gloves. And glove hands have become very rigid, fingers pointing upward instead of outward, elbows cocked a little bit too tight to the body so that the glove can't act athletically, flailing at pucks more than catching pucks.
Ooh.
Knight has really got it together in that area.
Slanger with the check in front of the United States bench. And we saw a little example of what we were just talking about. Sanderson, instead of going back and playing at the Helson, quick back up the neutral zone. Now here's Alex Turcotte. Turcotte fighting his way in. Halfway through this hockey game in terms of regulation anyway. As we're still tied. Here's Turcotte again. Looking across. It's gloved down by Zegras. Out the point. Tipped in front. Moynihan couldn't get a stick on it. Puhakka will whip it around. Nikkanen does the same going in the opposite direction.
Moynihan seeing a shift at Kaliev's spot here with the big line.
And Moynihan drawing back in. Sat for 2 games as he wasn't quite right. But a beloved player. Devils 6th rounder 2 drafts ago on this roster. Maybe another U.S. penalty. Interference is the call. The Finnish bench was calling for it. They got it. And they have another power play after this break. So we're about to get another look at the United States penalty kill that started the tournament great. First 5 times shorthanded, no goals against. The last 6 against the Finns and the Slovaks, 2 goals against.
Sometimes you don't get a chance to practice your penalty kill with live fire. They could struggle at key times. That's why when Bob Motzko was coaching at St. Cloud State, they're always the least penalized team in the country. He's now at the University of Minnesota. Won a gold medal for Team USA in 17. He used to always say late in the season, you never really knew what his penalty killing was. They were never killing.
Finns win the draw. Puutio. Now down below the goal line. Give Heinola working the point. Heinola bounces over a stick, but he gathers. Puutio. Still holding. Puutio lurking backdoor, shot from the point. There's a tip wide, thrown back in front. Knight slid across. Simon Taival. Work in the middle. Heinola. Puutio. Puutio throws it, tip by Hirvonen, but Knight was there. US hasn't cleared the zone yet. 45 seconds have been established. Heinola, one-timer, and Knight sliding across to make the save.
Knight knew that shot was coming before the shot even came.
Kasper Puutio looking for his first point, first goal of the tournament. He digs it out. And now gets it back. Top of the near circle. Puutio holds. Backdoor for Lundell. 40 seconds left across, and it dances over the stick of Puutio. And Heinola has to retreat. Finns have to get back on side.
Finns able to get a change. U.S. can't.
Thrown at, and that goes high off the shoulder of Spencer Knight, and it goes around, and now an opportunity for the Americans to get a fresh unit out there. Picked up by Niemela.
Sorry, Steve. Finns won a ton of races, which is why their offensive zone time was so extended and effective.
Last 15 seconds to the penalty against Thrun. Drop back. Nikkanen walking the line, thrown in front, bouncing around, and it evades the stick of Lambert. And now it's Matt Boldy. Boldy shorthanded, cutting in. The U.S. has killed the penalty. And you got to figure calls are going to even themselves out as we go along here.
In a game like this, you know, you can't figure anything.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right? You remember the old expression, don't assume.
Not at the World Junior Championship, not in a one and done is Boldy. That's when fluttered over the head of Bjornen. Now Caulfield dancing along for Faber with the wrister tipped wide. Oh, that was Boldy in front. No icing. How about that voice crack? 5:40 to go in the second period.
And how about the job by Caulfield coming back to hunt the puck? He has been on pucks all tournament long. It's been really impressive.
Laid down, taken away by Vito. He starts the Finns going the other way. Kokkonen to himself, centering attempt, but it bounced by. Turcotte backhands it out. Now to Caulfield. Caulfield has Zegras. Caulfield holds, passes. Oh, what a skate by Hataka to get in the way of the lane. Poked away by Hataka. Oh, that'll get your blood pumping if you're a USA Hockey fan, seeing Caulfield and Zegras in a 2-on-1, but they didn't get a shot off.
Hataka is so poised in a defensive zone. He's a 6th-round pick of the San Jose Sharks. Tim Burke knows how to draft, and he might have found something in this kid.
Farinacci up to Berard. Berard tries to knife his way in, bounces in front, and he hacks at it. Into the corner we go. Play to the point. Sanderson in for Farinacci. Wrist shot blockered away. Hacked out of the air. And wide by Moynihan. Hellison has room. Hellison shoots. And it's blockered into the air. He has it. Now Heinola up to Lindell. Farinacci all alone. Farinacci shoots. He scores! Farinacci's 5th. 2-1 Team USA.
What a huge goal as the U.S. once again sneaks behind the Finns' defense. Look at all the Finns, eyes up front. Nobody knew Farinacci was coming in. Heinola, no head on a swivel, no awareness, no idea that Farinacci had stuck behind them on the far side of the ice, and he comes in and he buries it stick side. Great pass. The Finns came out of their own end, really slow, really sloppy, with no speed, no jam, no anything. And the U.S. just stacked up. And Farinacci from the right wing side of the ice stuck behind everybody. And the Finns' defense just fell asleep. Steve, in a game like this, you don't think either goalie is going to give up 3. The Finns need 3 to win now. That becomes a tall order.
Farinacci has 3 goals in the last 4 periods. Team USA was nursing a 1-goal lead against the Slovaks late. Farinacci gave him some breathing room. So another big goal as the stick comes up. Penalty coming up on the Finns. So the extra attacker will come out for Team USA as Beniers will set up shop.
Oh, the tide is turning.
Now up to the point. Johnson down to Beniers. Beniers in tight quarters. Still has it. Puck taken off his stick. And the whistle will sound. High sticking call on the Finns, but Farinacci failing it and puts the Americans up by 1. Aku Ratu, Coyotes' 5th-round pick in 2019, called for a double minor, high sticking. Comes up on Boldy, and that cut Boldy in a scary place, right next to the eye. But he's fine, because he's a hockey player.
That's rule 143. Section 3, a player recklessly endangers an opponent by high sticking foul will be assessed either minor or major. It could be a double minor because of blood being drawn.
Boldy is big and has been big throughout this tournament. And this power play unit for Team USA is dangerous no matter which way you look at it.
This is a key point in the game for the Finns. It's a key point in the game for the U.S., but for the Finns, now down 2-1, they had really good momentum for most of this period, and it is slowly evaporating.
Coming down is Boldy. Zegras, you have Kaliev near side, Caulfield in the bumper roll. Boldy to Kaliev. Kaliev sets up with York. Kaliev lets it go, did not get a good stick on it. Then he's checked into the corner. Caulfield center, Zegras pass, tip, they score! Boldy! The United States makes the Finns pay. It's 3-1.
Once again, Cole Caulfield plays a major role in a power play goal getting set up just with his presence on the ice and his ability to move the puck. He tracks one off to the side. Boldy goes to the front of the net on a really good setup. Caulfield, 13, doesn't play with it, moves it to Zegras. Look at Boldy in front of the net, inside position, stick down. Zegras is shooting for the stick. See the stick down? That's the whole key to the play. Boldy goes to the front of the net. He gets backdoor on the goalie, puts a stick on the ice, and off the play from Caulfield up top, the pass comes to the front of the net. All Boldy's got to do is redirect it. What a great job by Caulfield once again to create a goal out of seemingly a harmless play.
Boldy has his 5th goal of the tournament. He drew the penalty. He scored the power play goal. Everybody on that power play unit touched the puck. From York at the point, the one-timer to Kaliev, who went to go, retrieved the puck, took a hit to make the play, got things started, and you broke down the rest. Now is USA's puck again in the O-zone. Turcotte looking for Brink. 2.5 to play in the second.
And the Finns got to be sitting on their bench thinking to themselves, we're going to get 4 on this guy? Good luck.
Again with the double minor, U.S. still on the man advantage. Second unit out there. There's a shot tip wide. Brink hacking at it. There's a scramble for it in front. And Kokkonen pushed it to the glove of Piroinen.
If you're the U.S. now, don't do anything to unlock the door to allow the Finns back into this by taking a penalty and taking yourself off the power play, going to 4-on-4. Just really good work by the U.S. They won races. They moved the puck. We talk about speed, breaking down structure, and Boldy goes to the front of the net by doing the simplest of things. He gets behind the goaltender. All he's got to do is put a stick down, zip, pass there, strong on the backhand, 3-1.
First unit back out. York has Zegras. Zegras at the top of the circle. Zegras shoots high. Puck loose. Zegras has it. Now it's with Caulfield. Caulfield to Zegras. Back for Kaliev. He shoots and it tips wide. Caulfield fighting for it. Lost his stick. 40 seconds on the power play. Kaliev shoots off the post and then off the stick of Piroinen. Now Zegras surveying what's in front of him. 1.5 to second. 30 seconds left on the power play. Into the air. Finns can't clear. Boldy calling for it. Gets it. Kaliev backdoor. Zegras near side. York at the point. Zegras on course one. Blocked by the stick of Vito. Less than 10 on the man advantage. Zegras comes in quick. Shoots high off the shoulder and off the glass. We're back at even strength. 60 seconds left in the second period. Zegras wants it again near side. Caulfield has it. He shoots. That one sails wide. U.S. still keeps the zone. Far side shot looking for a deflection and almost got it.
If you're the Finns right now, you just want to get out of this period down 3-1 and start talking about how you can get the next goal. My God, if they've been skating into the ground in the last 5 minutes.
Ratsu held up at the line. Picked up now by Nikkanen. Now a shot blockered by Knight. Taken along here. 25 seconds to go. Look out. Beniers to Slaggert. Pass intercepted.
Be selfish. Shoot the puck.
Especially at this stage in the period. Last 15 seconds. In front. Now at the point. Johnson angling, trying to get a shot off. 2 seconds, gotta go. You can hear him saying shoot it. They didn't know. And the Finns, a collective sigh of relief as the second period ends start.
That pace got way too high for what Finland's capable of, and a lot of it was because of the power play. And the U.S. got their legs going the last 5 minutes of that period. That 5 minutes for them was as good as any 5 minutes that they have played in this entire tournament. They are playing a man's game right now with the skill level that they've got going.
2 goals separate the Finns and the U.S. 20 minutes separates the U.S. from a gold medal date with Canada.
Welcome to this World Juniors Intermission Report fueled by Gatorade and the E.J. Radick. Power plays, special teams can be the difference. We saw just how important that was in the second period.
Yeah, well, Team USA has struggled on the penalty kill against the Finns going back to the pre-tournament game in the first period. The Finns got another power play. It wasn't easy, but the Americans were able to kill that off, and I think the momentum started to go the other way. Spencer Knight did a nice job because the American penalty killers were on the ice in the zone pretty much for 1:30 seconds before they could get a change. They did a good job trying to, not keeping them to the outside as best they could, but Spencer Knight was really the difference maker. I thought he was right on top of things. He was able to move and get it right. You see right there, he's really tracked that play nicely and got there and made the stop. So Spencer Knight was really the key on that. Your goaltender always has to be your best penalty killer, as you know, Tony. They battled along the wall, but boy, they must have been tired near the end of that penalty kill. But once they were able to kill it, you could see in the subsequent shifts, things started to turn the other way, and that led to the opportunity for Jersey John Farinacci, who ended up scoring to give him a 2-1 lead.
He makes my job so easy. Talk to us about Jersey John and what he did.
Well, he's had a really terrific tournament. He's played really well of late, and he gets behind the Finnish defense here and give Jackson Lacombe a real, he makes a nice pass there. And then what Farinacci does is he looks glove, and then he goes blocker. He gives a little disinformation, as our friend Alex Tangay would like to say. And we're going to take another look at it here. Gets behind on the forehand, looks one way, and then kind of comes back on the blocker and beats him. And there's a look at that pass again. A little sauce through traffic. And here comes Red Bank's own John Farinacci, Arizona Coyotes draft pick, and comes in and just fooled the goaltender there with that shot. Really nice shot.
We celebrate Trevor Zegras because last year he led the entire tournament in assists with 9. In limited action, he has already climbed the U.S. scoring charts along with people like Jeremy Roenick and James Van Riemsdyk. He got an assist on the Americans' next goal. This power play strike, beautifully handled.
Well, again, the power play for Team USA, when they had an opportunity, they've been really good in this tournament. They got the 4-minute power play on the high stick, and just really good work here. Kaliev's going to take this shot. He's going to go in the corner, and they're battling. He takes a hit here, but watch what happens. Caulfield to Zegras to Boldy in front of the net. They caught the Finns being too aggressive. And for kids watching out, we talk about it all the time in our practices. These guys aren't dusting the puck off, right? They're not stick handling. Watch it here. Bang, bang, bang to the net. That's basically passed into the net there. Caulfield to Zegras to Boldy. And he finishes there with that deflection past the goaltender. So you play at high levels, you're playing high speed, you don't have time to stick handle. That was really a high-end play by some terrific players. And there it is.
Can we talk about it? This is unbelievable.
That's a young Jeremy Roenick. Look at that Jeremy Roenick.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Zegras has been lights out good in this whole tournament. He's been terrific.
In 10 games. In 10 games.
2.5 points per game.
Trevor, you're so good at ice hockey. Like you're a national treasure. Wow. I thought there was a Western going on when instead of dusting it off, you said bang, bang, bang. I thought. We're going to take a break. Come right back.
No shooting in the studio, Tony.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah.
Jersey John is what's going on. Team USA up 3-1 with 20 minutes to play. Just 20 minutes separating the Americans and a chance at gold. Don't go anywhere. So here are the numbers through 40 minutes of action. Team USA with a 2-goal lead. Let's hear from one of the Americans' key contributors to this point. Brett Berard, son of the head coach at the College of Holy Cross, his papa, David.
Brett, how quickly things can change in this one. What changed for your team there towards the end of the second?
Yeah, I think that goal by John was obviously a huge one for us, and we've been kind of going at him all night, and I think that's kind of the momentum breaker, and I think from there on we've kept building hard, and if we keep this up, I think we'll be in good shape.
What were the coaches saying on the bench?
Yeah, just don't get frustrated. Just stick with our game because our team identity has been working for us this whole tournament, so as long as we stay with that, we'll be good going into the third.
What do you want to see for the last 20?
You'd like to get a win.
Perfect answer. Best of luck.
Thanks, Joe.
Team USA up by a pair. Matthew Boldy's dad played football for the University of Maine. This is what a touchdown looks like in this sport. Oh, Matthew, get hyped.
This intermission report is fueled by Gatorade. Nothing beats Gatorade.
The idea that Team USA is just 20 minutes away from playing for gold. Jersey John continuing to dazzle. He now has 5 goals in 6 games.
3 goals in his last 2.
That's impressive. This Team USA group has improved seemingly every single game after that setback to Russia. I want to talk to you about the 2-goal lead and just how safe, and I say that with air quotes, it is against a Finnish team that was down by 2 goals in knockout play, just the last round, against their hated rivals, the Swedes.
Yeah.
And what happened?
The Finns just keep playing. They play hard. They never give up in games, Tony, and that's what they will do in the third period. For Team USA, it's just about making smart decisions. You don't want to go into some kind of defensive shell and everybody back. That's not who they are. They want to keep skating, keep moving their feet, get pucks deep, force the Finns to go 200 feet, but just make good decisions with the puck. Make good decisions if you're the third man in the offensive zone, be the third guy high. Don't give them odd man rushes the other way. Don't take any penalties, obviously. We've seen in this game, the Finns scored a power play goal, and on their other opportunity, they had the puck in the zone for almost the entire shift. So no dumb penalties. Play smart, make good decisions with the puck, and continue to play your game, play to your identity. If they do all those things, they'll have a great chance to win this game. But the Finns aren't going away. That's not who they are. They will continue to play hard, and they will pressure the Americans for these final 20 minutes.
Finns have won gold 3 times in the last 7 tournaments, and they've beaten America twice. The last 2 times they've played in this tournament last year, U.S. finished 6th. The year before, they won gold. I want to ask you about a Nate Lehman coaching point. He stresses keeping the puck wide in terms of protecting a lead. Why?
Well, keep it away from the middle of the ice where you can turn pucks over, and obviously that's not where you want to lose the puck. You don't want to lose it in the middle and give good scoring chances. You know, the other thing, Tony, I would say, too, moving into this third period is we've seen already swings of emotion. I talk about it a lot when I talk about this tournament because these are young guys.
Sure.
We've seen it in this game. The Americans played well early. The Finns got that power play goal. It seemed like they took over the game for like about 15 minutes of playing time, end of first period, into the second period. U.S. kills that penalty. They start to creep back and get their game going. Farinacci scores. They get the power play. They score again. So there are swings of emotion. If the Finns get the next goal, it will be important for Team USA, for the leaders on that team on the ice, for the coaching staff to keep those guys moored in the present and continue to do smart things, handle the puck well, move it to the right spots, keep it obviously in a D zone outside, move it out of the zone quick, and try to make those plays. So keep an eye on that in the third period. The swings of emotion in these games, it's been mind-boggling to me over many, many years of watching World Junior games. Things can change quickly.
And he's only watched about 20 or more of these. Spencer Knight, huge period for him in the biggest game of his life. How will he respond? Beautiful look at Edmonton, city of champions back in the 80s. Feathery hair, beautiful. Gretzky.
The United States may be up 3-1 with 1 period to play, but it's against the Finns, who never die. At the World Junior Championship, this telecast powered and fueled by Gatorade. Dave Starman, Stephen Nelson with you. We're getting you set for the final 20 minutes of play. And let's go back to John Farinacci's goal. And the theme we started the night with was giving love to the D-Corps. He doesn't score that without a phenomenal pass from Jackson Lacombe.
And the D's are doing a really good job. Jackson Lacombe's a guy that hasn't got a ton of ice, but boy, did he go bullseye on this one. Bought time and space as he backpedaled. Farinacci jumped into the play. In 2004, the U.S. had a player on their team named Danny Fritchie who played a really big role for him, and Farinacci has drawn some favorable comparisons to Fritchie in terms of the role that he is playing on this year's team. Just look at this pass, right on the tape. Farinacci saved some ice, jumped into a hole, didn't play with it, just shot it, and that's what effective goal scorers do.
On the whiteboard, they're swarming, not to your line. They are
a herd of bees.
A herd of bees. A swarm of cattle? And you have a family member who's a world-leading entomologist.
Yeah, he was the Dean of Sciences at the University of Missouri for years.
And with that, we drop the puck quickly. Cole Caulfield coming up high, and it goes out of play.
Well, Missouri doesn't have a hockey team. Wisconsin does, and Cole Caulfield's been a big part of it. And when you watch Cole Caulfield play, he reminds you a little bit of his head coach there, Tony Granato, who made a living of jumping on loose pucks and getting pucks to the net quick. And Nate Lehman said it this morning, kind of confirming a lot of what you and I have said through the course of the last few games, and that is this kid just hunts pucks. And one thing Granato told me is that Caulfield's handling the puck a lot more south of the offensive blue line, but in this tournament he hasn't had to, because Boldy and Beniers have done a lot of heavy lifting in that area, and Caulfield has been great in the offensive zone getting the pucks.
Even Bucky is proud of how Caulfield is badgering opponents fighting for the puck. You got to excuse me for that one. It was a low-hanging fruit. Still not yet a half minute or a full minute into the third period here. U.S. up by 2. Glove down. Quick pass. Oh, wow. What a play by the United States D. To negate a high-quality chance for the Finns. Would have been an open goal mouth against Spencer Knight. Berard laying the body.
Their defense core, to me, is the story of the tournament. When you go back and you watch these games, the ADM for USA Hockey is going to have enough material forever.
And here's another one. Sanderson, the deactivated centering pass, taken away now. Petman goes to the other corner. Hellison fights off a man. Now Matty Beniers.
And that's why this line has been so good. Matty Beniers, low man in the coverage, sees he's got a defenseman in trouble who did a great job protecting the puck, and then Beniers comes in to support that defenseman, picks up the loose puck, and alleviates the pressure. Now look where he is. Now he's below the opposite goal line. Same shift. Great job by Beniers, and that's why you go high in the draft.
Seems like at least once a game we call out Matty Beniers for doing that. He is a full 200-foot player, which is why he is so highly regarded for the next draft.
And there's your example of it, so you don't think it's a cliche.
Dumped in. Johnson chases and wins it down. He can skate like his father Craig, that's for sure. Knight will play it back to him. Here's Boldy. He had a power play goal after drawing a double minor penalty to make it 3-1.
By the way, that's 3 times that Knight has gone behind his net during Finland's offensive zone play to pick off a pass that was going around the rim and get the U.S. out of its own zone. And don't think for 1 second that doesn't make a huge difference when you're defending.
Brad Lambert skates in. 3-on-2 for the Finns. Lundell sent it wide. Now it's at Zegras' feet. He turns it over. Pass across. Bounced by Lundell and Lambert, who retrieves. Now a shot from the point through traffic. In front of Knight. Still loose, hacking at it. And now coming around is Lundell. He centers. And it ends up down in the corner. Lambert around in front of Knight. And good work by Zegras to dig it out.
Great box out.
3 minutes in. A couple decent looks for the Finns thus far. They've been outscoring opponents 8-2 in the third period. That's why I said it's not over. Now near side, Niemela will shoot. Blocked by Brisson as that one is backhanded wide by Raptu. Moynihan threw it into the middle, and it's taken over by the Finns.
Finns start the period with a really good push for the U.S. right now. You can bend a little bit, but they have proven they haven't broken in these kinds of situations. They've handled a lot of really good offensive thrusts by a couple of good teams. Swedes did it to them. Slovaks gave a good push, and the U.S. has been able to hold on. Finland's just throwing everything in front of the net where they can. It's a pretty good recovery as the U.S. collapses low. They've been caught a couple times in this game with the Finns sneaking a little bit behind them. And Spencer Knight has been there when he's had to, but they have been really good at pulling their coverage low when the puck's low.
Shot blocked. Now Brett Berard. Berard will shoot into the glove of Peter Oinen. The broadcast of this game is authorized by USA Hockey, so any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of any image, sound, account, or description of this game without the express written consent of USA Hockey and the IIHF is strictly prohibited.
David Berard, a winger on that real good line with Farinacci and Bobby Brink, playing one line up over Landon Slaggert with Brisson and Moynihan, and Andy Slaggert, Landon's dad, and David Berard, Brett's dad, coached together for one of USA Hockey's teams in the Five Nations tournament a few years back.
Boldy cutting in. He's got some hands on him for a guy his size, that's for sure. Look at Caulfield trying to glove it down. He had things redirected there, and that's why it's back in the finish zone. Johnson plays it back. Now from the point, directed a couple of times, and Knight never saw it, but it went wide.
Finn's defense been really active on the points, getting a lot of loose pucks.
23 on 23, Johnson and Petman. Now a shot from the point, off a leg. Now Caulfield will poke it back. But Hellenius is there. And then a big collision down behind Spencer Knight. Puck comes free. United States trying to breathe here and set up a breakout. Instead, it's an icing.
As long as you get a breather, you need it. USA virtual fans with a little concern here as the Finns come out quick, and the Finns defense can get very active very quickly, and you'll watch this period. They'll be diving down like crazy, whether it be Heinola and Hataka, whether it be Viro and Niemela. They can really get into the play and create some havoc on the half walls.
Beniers takes the draw. U.S. controls, flipped ahead and out. And that's suboptimal.
Let's see where that was. I'm not sure if that was from inside the zone or not. And judging by Nate Lehman's reaction, I think it was.
2 minutes delay game.
Yep.
Yeah. That was.
Up, Caulfield chips it up and out. It's automatic. He knew it for the minute it left. And the Finns catch a break as they'll get a chance to get on the power play. And their power play it can be really dangerous, especially with the way Lundell runs it off of that right wing side.
Nate Lehman's face said it all. The head coach to the left was his assistant Chris Mayotte to our right.
Remember what he said this morning, Steve? He said, hey, the one thing you can't afford is a bad penalty, a puck out of play like that, delay a game.
Let's see if the U.S. PK can pick up Cole Caulfield. That Beniers. Up top, Lundell. Heinola shot, tipped, but blockered away. Racing for it is Slaggert. Slaggert fights for it and pushes it out of the zone. Beniers got to hustle off. Quickly back in. Simon Taival scored the only goal of the game for Finland. U.S. controls. See how much time they can kill. Farinacci shoots high off the glass. Comes all the way back down for Boldy.
Nothing better than you can make the other team's first unit chase a bit. Now the Finland's first unit gets a break here because they'll get at least a 20-second spot here between face-off, between whistle and puck drop. Second unit will kill a little time, and they'll probably get one more kick at it in the last 30 seconds. They get a couple of good chances here, and Lundell can really make a lot happen on that side. U.S. good in the lanes.
Farinacci at center ice. 14.5 minutes to play. The United States up by 2. This is the semifinals at the 2021 World Junior Championship. The winner gets Team Canada in the gold medal game tomorrow night. 1 minute left on the penalty to Caulfield. Niemela will dump it down. Here's Lambert. Niemela. Now close up to us for Parsonen. Lambert lurking, back door. Parsonen down below. No stuff attempt. Spencer Knight was ready for it. Parsonen. As York with a great stick again. So they can't clear the zone.
3 open invites for a jam play there by Lambert.
Here's Lambert again. Niikanen parked in front of Spencer Knight. Now Parsonen's shot. Rebound loose. In front. York will clear.
Good things happen on power plays when rebounds start bouncing around in the crease, especially because you can get numbers on the puck. Lambert off to the left side of the goal had 3 really good chances just to turn and jam it off the pads. Spencer Knight creates some havoc.
Lundell back onto the ice. Lundell trying to cut his way in all by himself. And as the puck taken off this stick, and the United States will clear again and kill the Caulfield penalty. Massive kill for Team USA.
Build a little momentum off it too, because it was a good energetic kill.
Now Simon Taival dances. Gives it to Lundell. A shot from the point. Blocked by Slager. Now push for Turcotte. Turcotte trying to backhand feed it to Caulfield, but it didn't get to him. Alex Turcotte has a goal in this game. Dave Starman told you earlier in the first he's going to factor in, and he broke the ice. Since then they potted 2 more. Pushed up by Helenius. Now thrown from the point, redirected, and wide to Spencer Knight. Arthur Kaliev now will enter the offensive zone. Chip and chase. Pressured by Hataka. Now Zegras tried to give it to Lacombe. Has to quickly play it back. Now Turcotte below the goal line. He'll cycle with Zegras. Turcotte 1-on-2 with Hataka and Helenius. Helenius takes the tumble, no penalty. Hellison lets it go. Big shot block, puck's in the air. I mean, now it's in another stratosphere apparently. Finally comes down. Lacombe will fire. And that one whistles wide. Quickly back to Lacombe. Lacombe will shoot. Low glove side.
He had the right idea because he had the Finnish goalie leaning the wrong way.
Jackson Lacombe picked up his first point of the tournament. That stretch pass we showed you coming out of this intermission report to Spring Farinacci. Again, you mentioned hasn't got a ton of ice, but he's making the most of it here in the semifinal. Turned over. Now Brink. Bobby Brink will shoot off a blocker. And now we're going the other way. Podia to Parsonen. Now in front, Ratu hacks at it. But Knight had the pad down. Thrown to the far side, kicked by Heinola. So we'll have a gathering on the far side boards. Now Brett Berard will wind and fire off the stick of Heinola.
For the U.S. right now, everything is north. Everything is up the walls. Everything is safe. That's puck management at its finest. Keep playing for the next goal. We'll play for the next goal in a smart, manageable puck support way.
Sanderson takes it away. What do you think of the pacing we're seeing right now?
This pace favors the U.S. by a long shot. The Finns are playing well and are skating hard, but this is a good pace for the U.S. to be at.
Oh, 3-on-1 for the U.S. One ahead, far side, shot! Off the side of the net from Slaggert. And Slaggert lays the body. Colangelo tried for a takeaway and missed. And the Finns will regroup with Hirvonen. Less than 10 to go in regulation. Shots 24 aside. The U.S. leads 3-1. Whipped around by Hellison. Played now to Boldy. Look at Matt Beniers. Pokes it down to Boldy. Boldy to Caulfield. Caulfield holds and gives it back to 12. Boldy and Beniers below the goal line. How often have we said that in this World Junior Championship? Now Petman. Little drop pass. Off for Hataka, who winds and fires, but it's blocked. Knight sticks that aside. Run. Softly ahead to Caulfield, who has it now.
U.S. in our own end are winning a lot of secondary battles. They may not win the original 50-50, but they're getting good puck support. to win the secondary battle and get pucks out. The one thing the Finns are going to start noticing here is when you play a team that plays at great pace like the U.S., it can get really late early.
Simon Taival shoots, sticked aside by Knight. Simon Taival again. Has Pudio with him. Centered shot, they score. Simon Taival, another tally, and it's a one-goal game.
The Finns' big group gets hungry and they go fishing, and they hook a big one here. They start winning some races. They start getting inside. They start getting the U.S. stretched out. And a little centering passes. The coverage falls asleep. Turcotte turned around just a second too late. The U.S. collapsed fairly well, and Simon Taival came in from behind, much like Farinacci did on the goal the U.S. scored. But that's all set up because of the extra effort that the Finns put on as they started to get numbers on the puck low, and they kept moving the puck side to side to change the point of attack.
The Finnish bench erupts as they're within one with 8 minutes and change left in regulation. U.S. quick up. Berard will hold and fire off a leg, and it just went wide of the net. Now below the goal line. U.S. working with Bobby Brink, Farinacci, and Berard. Again, the other team scores. That line's going to be out there. Try and generate some energy and momentum going back the Americans' way. Brink fighting forward in front. Dug out by the Finns. Simon Taival's 4th goal of the tournament and 7th point.
The Kings really did well by signing a small, pesky, skilled free agent out of St. Cloud State University named Blake Lizotte. And Simon Taival's going to remind you a lot of him with the way that he plays the game. He can get underneath you. He's got really good speed. He's sneaky around the front of the net.
Oh.
Just like the way he plays, and he didn't waste time on that one. Puck comes out in front, picked his spot, jumped into a seam, and buries it. And this kid's had a heck of a game, and he's had a heck of a tournament. He was really, really good against the Swedes.
One of 9 Kings prospects. John Hoban, he's got a lot of work to do studying these guys.
He is the epitome of you can't give a good player a bad pass. Like, it's amazing how well he picks up pucks no matter where they are.
We're going to go to a break. Breathe, folks, breathe. It's 3-2 United States in the third. All right, USA hockey fans, I know you're tense right now, but I just want to remind you that the 2022 Olympics and Paralympics are right around the corner, and we can all help support Team USA by contributing to the USA Hockey Foundation's Raise the Flag campaign. So go to USAHockeyFoundation, all one word, .com to donate now. All contributions are tax deductible, the extent allowed by law. Kasper Simon Taival, 2 goals tonight, his most recent one here in the third to cut the U.S. lead back to 1. Beniers, Caulfield uncorks one and races wide. With Dave Storman in our NHL Network studios in New Jersey, I'm Stephen Elson. Our own Jill Savage is embedded with USA Hockey in the bubble, providing interviews. Tony Luffman, EJ Radick in studio. They're standing by. I can imagine Tony doesn't have any fingernails left as we watch. Simon Taival again, now up top. Oh, that one from Pudio is blocked. So Caulfield thinks about going after it. Instead goes for a change as Heinola.
This kid could be a game breaker.
As we see right now, the Jets prospect will shoot into the stomach of Spencer Knight, who hangs on.
Think Cale Makar, think Charlie McAvoy. Those are kind of the 2 images I get when I see Heinola crank up some space, speed, and really get moving. As you mentioned, a first rounder of the Winnipeg Jets. And boy, has his game ever grown in the time that I've been watching him. He's mature with the puck now. He's a little bit less high risk, more of that NHL pro style. Can power play a quarterback. And when he's got the puck on his stick, he is really good at dictating and controlling pace.
5 points in 8 games with the Jets last year. Also played a few in Manitoba before finishing the year back in Finland in Liga play. He scored his first goal in October on Matt Murray and the Penguins, as that one is gloved by Spencer Knight.
I'm not saying he's going to be the next version of those two, but I'm just saying when you watch him at this tournament, when you watch him in this regular play, you see him on film at the same age. Those are the 2 images that pop into my mind. A little bit Cale Makar with the offensive push and the free-flowing skating. Charlie McAvoy with a good offensive stick and how well he can defend and control the pace of the play with the puck on his stick.
28 saves now for Spencer Knight. Thrown at him, bounces over his crease. Now near point, Hataka to the other end. Played off the glass, and Team USA will collect it. Turcotte up. Racing forward is Moynihan. He won't get there in time to break up the icing.
Offensive. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Steve.
Zegras, I think, was saying that it went off his stick. But it doesn't look like they're going to reverse course here and change the call.
Finns have two big-time face-off guys in Lundell and Nikkanen. Lundell is at about 70% for the tournament, and Nikkanen is just underneath. They got a couple of guys who can win a big offensive draws on different dots.
Wonder if Team USA had a point there. Play on, though. D-zone draw. Play back. One-timer. Stopped by Knight, and he bats it out of the air to the side. Niemela has it. Top of the point. Thrown into the corner. Flipped ahead. Now Zegras will take it. Trevor Zegras will hold, and his shot is deflected into the stands. We will take another break here on NHL Network. Come back to finish things up. U.S. up on the Finns, 3-2.
I was talking to Chris Mayotte, who handles the defense and the goaltenders here with Team USA. He was talking about Spencer Knight. He said Knight makes hard saves look routine to the point where we can frustrate other teams who think that they're making some great plays to the front of the net, and Knight just makes them look so average when he makes stops. That was a great example of it right there.
Draw in the offensive zone for Team USA, controlled by the Finns. Less than 6 to play. Boldy doing work on the forecheck. Now Caulfield will push it back. United States not allowing the Finns to get something going here. 5:35 left. The U.S. and Finland playing a tight game in double IIHF contests. Who knew? Paneer shoots. Deflected. Good stick by Vito again.
Finns have some good pedigree on this roster with guys that have won big games at high levels. So they've got some poise, and they've got some game management skills to them. So with 5 minutes to go, they keep looking up. They know that they've got time to make a play.
None of Team USA's games in this tournament, as Brink will push it forward, and U.S. waves at the zone, have been decided by 1 goal. Oh, brought down as Farinacci. They were fighting for the puck. So we play. Niemela looking up for Lundell, who backhands it into the middle, trying to spring Hirvonen, but was out of his reach. That was backhanded out of play.
Oh, we might have another delay game here. The Finns are pointing towards it, but I think the linesman is pointing towards the face-off dot.
Yeah. While they sort things out, let's see. Well, so after a conference, the officials determined that Henry Thrun did put the puck over the glass by himself.
You can clearly see it didn't go off the stick of 22 and White. He made 22 and White try to make a play on the puck, but didn't touch it.
I know some USA hockey fans at home are saying they've been quick to blow the whistle on Team USA in close calls, and they've been swallowing it for Finland. The United States has done it to themselves twice now, putting the puck over the glass. Cole Caulfield the first time, which they killed, and now Thrun. So the United States to the PK, less than 5 to go. They're holding on to a 3-2 lead. These two teams came into this meeting, the top 2 power plays in the tournament. U.S. number 1, Finns number 2, thrown in front. Simon Taival tried to poke at it and get a hat trick, but he missed. Circling, Hirvonen, the hero against Sweden in the corners. Now to Puutio. Lundell. Heinola holds. Down to Lundell. Lundell fires from a sharp angle. Loose in front. They score! Hirvonen. The game winner against Sweden. The game tire here against Team USA late in the 3rd.
He's the one that pressured the puck before it went out of play that caused the penalty. Now look where he is. He's sitting in front of the net, stick down, trying to take the eyes away from Knight. Did a pretty good job there. Then as the puck goes to the side, he is digging away, investing in front, stick down, hacking away at it, chips one through Knight, who for the first time in this game gives up a goal that's a little shaky, and the Finns have fought back against what I thought were really tough odds with the way that the U.S. was playing.
3.5 to go. It's 3-3. Again, we started the third period by telling you it's not easy to put away the Finns. Heck, it's been nearly impossible, it seems. They scored 2 here in the third to even the tally as that one squeezes between the abdomen and the blocker of Spencer Knight.
It was a terrific job by Lindell, who just stayed with it. He put a puck on net. He really didn't have a great scoring chance, so he put a puck on net. Now, what have we talked about during the course of this game a lot? Put pucks to the front of the net, get rebounds, create havoc. Great job by the Finns.
Shot from the point, and Piroinen never saw it, but it goes wide. Thrown back in. Now to neutral ice.
And this kid Lindell is going to have a pretty good future. Is somewhere between a 2 and 3 center with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Lob wedge behind Knight, off the glass. Bounces to Ratu. Now to the point. Niemela's shot wide. Thrown in by Vito, but he kind of whiffed on it. Now flipped ahead. The United States will change, but it's an icing. For all you Game of Thrones fans out there, the Finns in this tournament are kind of like the Mountain. They never die.
They've come back on a couple of occasions. The game against the Swedes was just outrageous. I mean, they just chipped away. It was a 2-goal lead. They stayed with it. And like I told you a little while ago, they got players on this team with winning pedigree who have won big games at big levels. And when you've got that ability to manage games and see them through for 60 minutes without a high panic level.
Alex Turcotte against Samuel Helenius. Helenius wins. The blast from the point into the stomach of Spencer Knight as that one got all the way through.
Big shot by Handel off a one draw. You know, Handel really impressed with his passing, but his one-timer is great. Right on target with a little screen in front of the net. And Spencer Knight is good here to hold on to it. Soft rebound.
2:49 left in the semifinal. Winner goes on to face Canada for gold. Loser gets Russia in the bronze medal game. Matt Beniers. And there's a whistle. And now some hugs.
Well, if any line can turn a game around quickly and reestablish momentum, it's this line which Matty Beniers centers, and it's been a good line for him. And for the U.S. right now, you're looking at a couple things. You know, where can you steal a matchup that's to your advantage? But number one is, can you use the Beniers line, the Farinacci line, to set up what potentially could be Turcotte, Zegras, Kaliev for the last shift of the period, trying to break a tie.
If you're a fan of the United States, you hope Team USA on the ice is less tense than the fans we just saw tuning in virtually. A nervous 2:20 remaining in the semifinal, played by Knight. Now Johnson. Gerard will chip it out. Thrown back in quickly. Two more minutes of regulation time. Third line back out there for Team USA. Do they have one more electric shift in them here at the end of regulation? Icing waved off.
Same thing happened last night. Finns in the last couple of minutes. Wade won a race, got an icing waved off, scored the game winner.
Turcotte has his stick knocked away from him. Now far side for Parson. Nikkanen rather. Now taken out by Turcotte. He has Kaliev to his right. Turcotte to Zegras. Zegras to the back end. Finds Kaliev, but it bounces over his stick. Now Turcotte again. Kaliev wants it, has it, shoots, he scores! He scores! An Arnie party late in the third, it's 4-3.
Well, you knew the U.S. was going to put the game on the stick of their big line. There's Turcotte again, doing what he's done all tournament, winning battles, being a pain in the neck, getting pucks loose, and he helps to soften up the beef here to eventually get the puck to Kaliev, who will rarely miss from that area. What a shift by the U.S. after the Finns won a race to get an icing canceled to get some offensive time. The U.S. was able to get a clear, get a puck low, go to work, tenderize the beef, and get a puck to Kaliev for a goal.
Arthur Kaliev. You give him space in the slot, good luck. To Piroinen, any goaltender. But the problem is there's still time on the clock and you're still playing Finland. This thing ain't over. They call for Piroinen. And we have a whistle with 1:01 left in regulation.
Turcotte out of the corner after he had won a couple of battles. Look at that shot. Perfect. Labeled from the minute it left off a great forecheck by the U.S. The finish was pretty. The beginning was gritty. And that combination has got the U.S. in a good spot to play for gold.
Draw one by the Finns. Flipped in. Now thrown out by Sanderson. Extra attacker out there for Team USA. Puck trickling toward the net, and it just goes wide. Oh, wow. Was that ever close? Last 45 seconds. U.S. trying to kill some time at center ice. Beniers out there pressuring and hustling. Last half minute. The Finns enter and then are forced to exit. Dumped in. Knight will come out, but it bounces by him. So now Faber in the corner. Last 20 seconds. Thrown in front. Off a stick. Heinola fires. And a big shot blocked by Henry or Drew Hellison. Or Matt Boldy. He's going to get it right eventually.
Oh, the big rig from Boston College sells out and does what winning teams need as he sacrifices his body to block a point-blank shot by the guy Finland would want the puck on the stick of in that spot, and that is Heinola, who has just got an absolute laser beam, and that'll give you the black and blue badge of courage that every player covets in a big spot.
Landon Slaggert, quick to come over. Attaboy. There, Boldy drew some blood right by his eye. Led to a double minor and a power play goal. There, the big shot block. As Finland has called the timeout.
Lundell and Heinola, a couple of guys who you certainly want the puck on the stick of here in the last 13 seconds. And Simon Taivo has been real hot. He's had the hot stick with a couple of goals here. Remember, the Finns have been really good on draws throughout the tournament. Lundell has been great. And obviously the key to here, if you're the U.S., the key here is you want a dead draw back so that your defenseman can get to it and just blast it around and out the far side. If you're the Finns, you got to be very aware on a lost draw of making sure that you hit that far wall to keep play extended.
Finns win the draw but can't keep the zone. 10 seconds. They come back. Thrown at Knight. He steers it aside. 3 seconds, 2 and 1. The United States will play for gold. Two sides of the coin at the World Junior Championship. You see the elation, the relief, the excitement for Team USA, the heartbreak and disappointment of the Finns.
That's what this tournament is about. It's about heroes and heartbreaks, and the U.S. on the good side of that equation with a hard-fought win. They got pushed to the limit. They bent and bent right to the breaking point, and then they found a way with their top line of Zegras, Turcotte, and Kaliev being able to get the game winner when the Finns had controlled the third period from start to finish. Great players can make great plays at great times, and that is where the U.S. benefited. They put the game on the sticks of their big guns, and their big guns delivered.
Now time for the players of the game and the anthem of the United States.
Let's give it one. Wait.
The best players of each team is presented by Explore Edmonton, the visitor economy and venue management organization for Edmonton. Each winner will be awarded with a custom wallet from local maker, Close General Leather Company. Recipients will receive their award after they exit the ice. The best player of Team Finland est le numéro 10, number 10, Kasper Puutio. The best player of Team USA est le numéro 28, number 28, Arthur Kaliev. And now for the three best players of the 2021 IIHF World Junior Championship for Team USA and Team Finland. The three best players are selected by their team and will each receive a Tissot watch. The three best players of Team Finland are defenseman, défenseur, le numéro 4, number 4, Ville Heinola. Forward, avant, le numéro 15, number 15, Anton Lundell. Defenseman, défenseur, le numéro 35, number 35, Mikko Kokkonen. And the three best players of Team USA are goaltender, gardien de but, le numéro 30, number 30, Spencer Knight. Defenseman, défenseur, le numéro 4, number 4, Cam York. And at forward et à l'avant, le numéro 9, number 9, Trevor Zegras. Et maintenant, pour l'hymne national, for the national anthem of Team USA.
The sticks hit the ice for Team USA. We hit a break. Y'all okay at home? Good, because we got a post-game show to talk about and get you ready for the gold medal game tomorrow night as the United States beats Finland in the semis 4-3. Come right back.
One more. Hey, man,